What's up, you guys? Hey, just want to let you know that you have Sarah to thank for this. I've been reaching out and communicating back and forth with Sarah, and I asked her, I said, Sarah, what is one of the challenges that you guys at One Call, the One Call team face, especially in this economy, especially in this, this day and age? And one of the things she let me know was the fact that you guys do a lot of changes. And how do you deal with change? How do you cope with changes, especially, and then also still stay on course when it comes to planning? You see, being a former NFL player, I totally know all about that. The fact that, you know what, one of the most permanent things in life is change. Think about that. The most permanent thing in life is change. But how many of us are always still trying to maintain the same status quo? But if we look over our life, we'll notice that the only thing that keep happening, no matter how much we try, is we find ourselves dealing with change. And so in a situation where we have a life full of change, but we still got to plan. How do we plan when we don't know what's going to happen? Well, here's how you do it. And I'm going to share today, I'm going to share 9 quick things on how do we deal with this change? How do you cope with it? How do you decrease the anxiety that you may have while you're going through it? And then also, how do you stay on course? How do you still maintain the goal? Because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. You see, being a professional football player, we had to deal with that all the time. We sat all week preparing a game plan. This is what we're going to do. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then come Sunday, we all knew, because of experience, we knew that once we got into the game, that we would throw out our best 15 plays. We would start out, going basically by applying what we thought we were going to do, how we were going to do it, and with all hopes and desires that things were just going to work out. But how many of you guys know in a football game, things always change. Things happen. A guy may not be where we thought he may be. The quarterback might not throw the ball where we thought he was going to throw the ball. They may not run a run play when we thought that they might run a run play. The defense may be in a different situation or different defense than the quarterback anticipated. And so what do? Do you just go to the sideline and say, man, that's it? It ain't working out? Or do you basically do what we always do? We get to the sideline. We understand that, here's what we practice. What is the end goal? The end goal is to win. The end goal is to have more points on the board than the opponent. The end goal is to take one play at a time and move the ball. And so with football, we got a chance to focus on the most important thing, which is moving the ball towards the end zone to win the game. So maybe the same thing for your organization. It's all about moving the ball to move it to the end goal. The end goal may be providing the best solution, the best things that you can to all your clientele, all your members, and within each other. And the most important thing that you can do is move the ball, make the necessary adjustments to get to the end goal. And so I wanted to share about 9 things with you guys, really quick tips on how do we cope with change? And how do we maintain and keep the anxiety level down when we deal with it? Because whether it's professional or in our professional life, whether it's a personal life, it doesn't matter. We're going to be dealing with change all the time. And so I'm fortunate I get a chance to travel around and I get to share these different types of messages, different types of solutions and strategies with people on all different issues. And so I thought no better person to share it with than individuals who are working, helping create solutions for individuals who may be going through change themselves, who may be going through situations, things that are unexpected. So here's a couple of things that I want to share with you. Number one, as you think about coping with change and decreasing anxiety and all that, number one, you got to acknowledge your feelings. If you're going through any amount of change, you have to acknowledge your feelings. At the end of the day, don't try to avoid the emotions. Listen to them. Because the emotions are, your emotions are part of a self-awareness. The fact that that emotions are given to us to enjoy and embrace our human experience. So that means any and everything that happens in life, there's going to be an emotion tied to it. And so the first thing you can do to cope with change is to acknowledge your feelings. Because it's okay to feel worried. It's okay to have doubt. It's okay to be fearful at times. It's okay. But what we have to do is you have to try to identify, what is it that I'm feeling? Write those things down. Write it down like, hey, you know what? With this new job, with this new situation, with this new acquisition, I'm feeling a little nervous. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. And it's okay. I'm feeling a little nervous about this situation in my family, this situation with my children. I'm nervous about it, and it's okay. And so one of the ways you cope with change whenever it happens is, number one, is you have to acknowledge your feelings, that they're okay. Number 2 is to prepare yourself. No matter what the situation, you can always prepare yourself by, number 1, learning as much as you can about the new thing. Let's say you're about to acquire a new job, or you're about to acquire a new company, or there's going to be a new process, or there's a new policy or something. To learn about as much as you can eases the tension, eases the anxiety, eases the stress. And then beyond learning about it, ask questions. I love questions. I truly believe that the more questions you ask, the more information you can receive. And so ask people. Ask anybody that you may know that may have information to help you with it. Because once you figure out the answers, it actually tends to decrease the amount of anxiety you have, decrease the amount of stress, decrease the amount of tension. So number one, acknowledge your feeling. Number two, prepare yourself. Number three, create some type of mental go-to, right? Kind of a mental script, if you will. That means that when something arises that you did not expect, that you feel may be out of your control, I want you to come up with some type of mental script, something that you're going to say to yourself. You see, oftentimes what doesn't work is when people tell us what we should think. But what always works is when you tell yourself what to think. You see, in life, we don't mind change, right? We just don't want nobody else to, we just don't want nobody else to change us. So when you create your own mental dialogue, when you create your own mental script by saying things like, you know what, I don't like the fact that this change is happening, but you know what, it's beyond my power to control it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to accept it and I'm going to make the best out of it. You see what I did in that situation? I acknowledge the fact that, hey, I don't like this. This may not be what exactly I desired. I might have done something different. I know I can't control it because if I could, guess what? Click, click, you would have controlled it. But even though I know I can't control it, I'm going to accept it. And then I'm going to make the best out of it. You see, what happens when you put your mind in that type of situation, when you put your mind into a solution standpoint, it goes to figure out how you can make the best out of it. And in making the best out of it, it allows you to cope with the change and it decreases the amount of stress that you're going to have. And so number four, I say remind yourself that at the end of the day, you control your attitude and you control your actions. You see, 90% of the things in this life is not so much what happened to us, but how we respond to it. You know, I always love when I get a chance to share, and I wrote about it in my book, The Next Level Motivation book, about how you can actually look at your life from a lens of perspective. You see, you can have two people look at the same situation, and both people can look at it differently. One person can see an opportunity, and another person can see a crisis, but they can be looking at the same thing. Because in that situation, remember, you control your perspective. You control how you define it, and you get to control your action. And so number five, when you think about how do I cope with the change? How do I decrease the anxiety and the stress level, especially? And how do I stay on guard? How do I stay on point and keep moving the ball forward? Why don't you write some things down? Here's the most powerful thing about writing things down. You see, I often think about the two different bodies of water, right? Okay, over in the Middle East, you have the Dead Sea and you have the Jordan River. The Dead Sea is something where you think about it, all the water comes in, but it stays there. It's just like all the stimulus comes in, things are happening to you, and you're just holding on to it. You're not letting it out. And guess what? Just like the Dead Sea, things on the inside don't go right. And in the Dead Sea, things just die away. But the thing about the Jordan River is that as the water comes in, it also has a place to go out. And so as new things are coming in, getting processed, it also has a place to release. And so as you either talk to somebody, you're releasing it. As you're either dealing with your emotions about it, you're releasing it. As you either write it down, what is it about it that you don't like? What is it about it that you would like to create solutions for? You look at the problem. What is the problem? And then what are the best ways that I can take ownership and I can change the situation, or I can control it, or I can manage it, or I can add or be a part of the solution? You see, just like the Jordan River, these situations are coming. You're processing it, but you're releasing it. And so again, understanding that when you journal about your worries, when you journal about it and you think about what are the problems and then what are solutions, it has an opportunity for you to cope with changes. Is this making sense, everyone? Is this helping you? Can you see how, as you take personal responsibility and personal accountability for how it happens, not so much the fact that it did happen, but how you respond to it, that all the control is in your hands. And then the next thing is basically talk to somebody. Talk to somebody who basically that has a similar experience. You're not the only one. See, I know sometimes when we play in the game and we have a big play, let's say as a defensive back, and I'm covering man to man, and there's times when I might have missed a play, I might have stumbled, I might have failed, I might have had a bad read, and I messed up, and the whole world was watching. And I get to the sideline, and I have an opportunity on that sideline. I have an opportunity to go down to the end of the bench and be all by myself, or I have an opportunity to get around my buddies and then for us to talk about what happened. What can we do about it? I get a chance to get on the phone with my coach and find out, hey, what did they do? What did they show differently? And how can I adjust for it the next time? And so based off of those two choices, the fact that I can isolate myself or I can get around other people, I can ask questions, I can get advice. Hey, what do you think I should do in this situation? How do you think we need to move forward? You see, getting help, there's power in humility. There's power in humbling ourselves. There's power in just basically simply asking for help. And number 7, basically accept uncertainty. See, life is going to happen. I totally believe that life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you and because of you. It's happening for you so that you can develop. You can grow through it. You see, I never went the only way that I can develop strength in my muscles and everything in my body was to have resistance, to have weight. And it was that weight, the very presence of that weight, that developed the muscles. It was the very presence of these situations that presented in your life, for your job, in your personal life, that presented the opportunity for you to grow. And so again, nobody desires to wake up in the morning and say, hey, I want all the problems to crash with me just like that, right? Nobody says, hey, I want all the issues to come my way. Nobody says that. We don't say we want the uncertainty. But when it comes, it provides a tremendous opportunity. Because as we understand, we accept uncertainty, we understand that we're always in transition. You see, one of the great things I love about rivers is, as I talk about, they're always flowing. And if you put your foot inside the river and then you lift your foot up and you put your foot inside the same river, okay, 5 seconds later, that's a different body of water at that moment. Because life is always flowing. The river is always flowing. And the same fish that was in that one part of the water where you put your foot in may not be there 5 seconds later. Why? Because life is a big transition and we're always transitioning. And so number 7 was accept uncertainty. Number 8 is to see your changes and these changes as an opportunity. Do you know in the Japanese culture, the very word that says crisis means opportunity? Think about that. They have defined that word crisis. And they basically said the definition of the word crisis is opportunity. So my question to you is, what is the crisis that you have going on? What is the crisis you have in your health, in your family, in your job, in your surrounding, in your personal, your professional life, in your finances? What crisis do you have? Because if you adopt the same mindset of those of the Japanese, they say, man, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to grow. It's an opportunity for you to do the right thing. It's an opportunity for you to be something that you never was so you can have something you never had. This is an opportunity. And so as you look at coping with changes and you look at decreasing that stress level, it's all about taking personal responsibility. It's all about being accountable. It's all about your perspective. And so number 9, one of the things that I always tell all my teammates, I want you to leave your complaining at the door. So leave complaining and all the blaming behind you. Yes, the situation end up the way you didn't want to? Yes. Would you have done it differently sometimes? Yes. Would you have stayed the same? Yes. Would you have did this? Yes, 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 yes. But here's your opportunity. Instead of complaining, it's time for us to take responsibility. It's time for you to say, you know what, this is my situation. It's tailor-made for me. It's tailor-made for me to come up with the answer. Think about this. In this world, the person that's valued the most is the one that's solution-oriented. The person that's valued the most, the person that gets the most, the person that earns the most, the person that's the most valued, the person that has an open door policy when it comes to talking to leadership is those that are focusing on solutions and not just the problem. And so I encourage you guys today. I encourage you because just like this message is for you, this message is for me. This message reminds me that change is the most permanent thing in life, but how we deal with it, how we focus on the end goal. How do we focus on moving the ball to the end zone? How do we focus on being the best in our industry constantly, no matter what's happening around us, staying focused on the goal and living life and leading from the inside out? That makes difference in the world. And so listen, I hope this message was encouraging to you. I look forward to dealing with you. I look forward to talking to you guys. I look forward to partaking with you guys, supporting you guys, just being here, let you know that I'm here. We're all in this thing together. And so I look forward to it. I hope this message, hey, send your feedback. Let me know, hey, did this message speak to you? Did it resonate with you? What was it about it that spoke to you? And where and how are you going to be better because of it? Listen, I'm Donovan Darius, former 10-year NFL player, professional life strategist, speaker, author, and coach. And it's a great pleasure for me to share this message for you. My prayer and desire is that this message hit right in the right place it needs to, right in your heart and your mind, so you can go ahead and put those things out into this world. You guys be blessed today. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to talking to you later. Peace out.